In 2026, OpenAI achieved an $852 billion valuation. To understand the economics of modern artificial intelligence, we have to look at what the company did immediately after securing that number. Fresh off a $122 billion capital raise, OpenAI announced the complete shutdown of Sora, its highly publicized phenomenon-level video generator. Senior management downgraded the viral tool to a side mission. While Sora commanded massive public attention, it lacked direct, immediate commercial value for enterprise clients. This chart tracks the reality of enterprise AI adoption. Right now, 44% of organizations are stalled in the generative AI pilot phase. Only a strict 10% of these companies have successfully navigated the transition out of testing and into live production environments. Killing the most visually impressive product in the market demonstrates a calculated pivot. The industry is no longer subsidizing creative experimentation. Capital is flowing directly towards enterprise utility. Traditional software scales with a near-zero marginal cost. Distributing a web application to 1 million new users requires minimal back-end expansion. Artificial intelligence operates under massive, linear compute constraints. Every prompt requires raw physical energy. This line graph maps energy consumption per request. A traditional Google search requires roughly 0.0003 watt-hours of electricity. A standard ChatGPT text query demands approximately 0.34 watt-hours per request. Processing video generation workflows, like the one Sora relied on, requires a 100x energy multiplier compared to standard text generation. To survive these hostile energy and compute costs, engineering teams have adopted a mandatory financial framework called AI FinOps. This scatterplot maps the baseline API costs across the industry. At the budget tier, xAI's Grok 4.1 operates at a mere 20 cents per 1 million input tokens. OpenAI's flagship GPT 5.2 sits significantly higher, priced at $1.75 per million input tokens. Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6 commands a premium rate, costing $5 per million input tokens. Rather than running every prompt through a premium model, FinOps engineers enforce model cascading. They route simple analytical tasks to cheaper models, reserving expensive tiers strictly for complex reasoning. They also mandate JSON mode formats. Forcing the AI to return data in rigid, structured JSON explicitly prevents the model from generating bloated conversational text, which controls unexpected output charges. For non-interactive workloads, compiling requests into batch operations halves the per-item API expense. Treating AI compute not as a fixed infrastructure cost, but as an actively managed financial portfolio is the only mathematically viable path to achieving traditional software profitability. Optimizing raw API unit economics is only the first step. The 2026 enterprise landscape is defined by a strict architectural divide in deployment strategy. On one side is the SaaS AI deployment model. This offers predictable subscription scaling and friction-free integration timelines. By utilizing a SaaS approach, an organization strategically shifts both maintenance responsibilities and architectural complexity entirely onto the vendor. On the other side is the custom AI approach. These systems are built entirely around an organization's proprietary data logic and integrated directly into internal workflows. Custom AI carries heavy, hidden variables in its total cost of ownership. First, the organization must build and maintain massive proprietary data engineering pipelines. Second, the architecture requires continuous model monitoring and cyclic retraining to prevent performance degradation. Third, internal hosting mandates a dedicated security infrastructure and rigorous compliance oversight. Choosing a custom AI architecture is only financially viable under one strict condition. The specific use case must directly drive competitive differentiation through the use of unique proprietary datasets. The operational rule is clear. Commoditized, standardized workflows like support ticket routing or invoice processing belong strictly in SaaS wrappers. Conversely, core revenue drivers like aviation logistics calculating delay predictions using raw operational data demand customized, embedded stacks. Organizations that fail to calculate the true total cost of ownership against their actual competitive advantage end up trapped in permanent, unscalable pilot phases. We are now moving past static architectural choices. The defining shift of 2026 is the deployment of continuous, autonomous enterprise workflows. The traditional single-turn chatbot is effectively dead. In its place is the explosive rise of agentic AI workflows, where models continuously plan and execute complex tasks without human prompting. This requires new protocols. The Model Context Protocol, or MCP, acts as the critical technical enabler, allowing AI agents to actively interface with external enterprise software systems. Simultaneously, the AI Exchange Protocol operates as a universal standard language, enabling direct agent-to-agent communication without human oversight. In execution, an autonomous customer support agent can now identify a transaction error, interface directly with an internal billing agent, and resolve the issue entirely in the background. Market projections indicate that 56% of all customer support interactions will involve agentic AI by the middle of the year. But autonomous agents require strict cryptographic boundaries. Deploying them without protecting corporate data guarantees a massive security breach. This is the trust layer. It is a mandatory security infrastructure heavily reliant on enterprise key management and AES 256 encryption. By achieving ISO 42001 compliance, the trust layer structurally guarantees that sensitive organizational data remains permanently isolated from the provider's default model training pools. Agentic AI completely redefines the modern enterprise employee. Humans are transitioning from manual task executors to strategic managers, overseeing a digital, trust layer-governed workforce. Which brings us back to OpenAI killing its viral video generator, despite a record-breaking influx of capital. The resources previously dedicated to Sora were reallocated to a specific replacement strategy: engineering an AI super app. This platform fuses ChatGPT, codecs, browsing, and agent functions into one cohesive, high-margin productivity tool. The raw performance metrics enable this specific enterprise shift. Driven by GPT 5.4, the API can now process over 150 billion tokens per minute. The financial reality dictating these product decisions is clear. Enterprise business now accounts for more than 40% of OpenAI's total revenue. To survive the linear cost of intelligence, engineering teams must master FinOps unit economics. Organizations must draw a ruthless, financially driven boundary between custom and SaaS architectures based on the total cost of ownership. And those agentic workflow protocols must operate entirely within heavily encrypted trust layers. Artificial intelligence is no longer judged by public hype. The market is now driven entirely by hard